Good morning, class. Today we are working on Unit 1, Lesson 10, homework. And here we're practicing adding and subtracting fractions with unlike mixed numbers. And we have practiced adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, but now we're adding and subtracting mixed numbers that have a fraction with the unlike denominators. The same rule is going to apply when we are looking at our whole numbers. If we need to borrow when we subtract, that you are going to borrow one whole from the number that you are subtracting from. So let's look at number 1, for example, because I know we'll have some questions about this. Even though we've seen it before, we're going to go ahead and talk about it a little bit here. We have 3 minus 1 2/5. And I have a whole number of 3 here, and there's not a fraction. So how do I subtract this fraction from nothing above? Well, this is an instance where we have to borrow. Okay, we're going to borrow from that 3. The 3 is going to become a 2, and then we're going to borrow one whole. So if we look at this fraction down here, it's written in fifths. So you're going to write your fraction in fifths, and one whole would be 5/5. So 5/5 would be equal to one whole. Then, once you've done that, you can simply do your subtraction. So 5 minus 2 is equal to 3, and your denominator is fifths. And then 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. And so your answer is 1 3/5. We're going to go ahead and do a few more of these as practice. And remember, we're just working on getting that common denominator so you can either add or subtract. Number 2 reads 2 7/10 plus 2 4/5. And this is another example where we don't have a common denominator because we have a denominator of 5 and a denominator of 10. And so we need to get a common denominator. Well, I know 5 times 2 is 10. So remember, anything I do to the top, I do to the bottom. And so I have 4 times 2 is equal to 8, and 5 times 2 is equal to 10. And now I have that fraction with common denominator. Now I need to go back and I need to pull over my whole number and I need to bring it over. So I have 2 8/10. So now what I have is 2 7/10 plus 2 8/10. And I can go ahead and do my addition. 7 plus 8 is equal to 15 over 10, and 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So I have 4 15/10. And I know that 15/10 is an improper fraction. And I know that 10 can go into 15 one time, so I can pull out one whole number and add it over here to the whole number. So my whole number is now a 5, and I'm left with 5/10. And 5/10 could also be 5 1/2. And so for this one, I would accept 5 5/10 or 5 1/2. You can write it either way. I'm going to write it above since I'm running out of space. We can go ahead and look at number 3, and we have 7 5/9, and we are subtracting from that 3 2/15. I again need to find a common denominator between 15 and 9, and I'll just write down my factors of 15. I have 15, 30, 9 can't go into 15 evenly, 9 can't go into 30 evenly. I have 45, 9 can go into 45. 9 times 5 is equal to 45. So I'm going to bring over my whole number first, and 5 times 5 is equal to 25, and 5 times 9 is equal to 45. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I need to multiply 15 times 3 to get my 45. So I have to multiply top and bottom. I'm going to bring over my whole number, and 3 times 2 is equal to 6. And 3 times 15 is equal to 45. And now I can complete my subtraction. 25 minus 6 is equal to 19. My denominator stays the same, 19 45ths. And 7 minus 3 is equal to 4. So 4 19 45ths. I'll go ahead and have you complete 4 through 9 on your own. I think you should be able to get through those pretty easily. And then we will go ahead and look at number 10, story problem number 10 together. Number 10 reads, the Taylors have 4 dogs. Molly eats 4 1/2 cups of food each day. Roscoe eats 3 2/3 cups Milo eats 1 3/4 cups, and Fifi eats 3/4 of a cup. How much do the Taylor's dog eat each day altogether? Well, that word there, altogether, is your key word that you're going to need to do some addition. And so we're going to go ahead and add those together. We have 4 1/2. We have 3 2/3. We have 1 3/4. And we have 3/4. And we're going to need to add all of these together. Well, we are going to need a common denominator, but before we even do that, I'm going to combine like terms. Remember, I'm going to combine the ones first with a common denominator. And so I have 1 3/4 plus 3/4. And so 3 plus 3 is 6 over 4, and 1 plus nothing is 1. Well, 1 6/4 is an improper fraction. So 6/4 is an improper fraction, and 4 can go into 6 one time without going over. So I'm going to add 1 to my whole number. So this is going to be equal to 2 2/4, or 2 1/2. 2 1/2. And so I'm actually going to erase some of this so that I have some extra space to work. And I'm just going to erase this little bit of work here so that I can keep moving, because I know I have 2 1/2 for those two. Now I still have to add 4 1/2 plus 3 2/3. Well, now that I have 2 1/2, I can see that 4 1/2 and 2 1/2 can be combined because they have a common denominator, right? 4 1/2 plus 2 1/2. I can combine those two now. So 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2 over 2, or 1 whole, and 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. So this is equal to 7. So now all I have left to add is my 7, because I've added everything together, is my 7 plus my 3 2/3. And now I don't need a fraction. I don't need a fraction in the top because I'm adding. So my fraction is just 2/3. And 7 plus 3 is equal to 10. So my answer is 10 2/3 cups of food. Please make sure you include your label. And when you do 11 and 12, you need to also have a label. So make sure you take your time, work each problem carefully and completely. And when you've finished, take a picture of your work, attach it to your assignment, and upload it into Teams. Thank you.